You better believe we can compete. And frankly, because we are going to have a new president, I think that giant sucking sound that you're going to hear is jobs coming back over the border.
Okay, thank you very much for that exuberant response to us tonight. Thank you, Governor Jennifer Granholm of Michigan, which, of course, NBC has declared has gone to Barack Obama, one of the big states that we talked about. By the way, as I said, the Republican strategy was to pick up Rhode Island, Michigan, and Pennsylvania in that order. Michigan failed weeks ago as a prospect for them. It was pretty stunning, everybody, when they stopped running TV ads in Michigan and gave up on it, such a major state.
And don't forget, Governor Palin wanted to go back anyway.
Indeed, she did.
Right.
Let's bring in our insiders. Longtime Republican strategist Mike Murphy, former Democratic Congressman Harold Ford of Tennessee. Michael, I want to hear from you on Florida, but before I do that, we're looking at North Carolina. You heard Chuck Todd just a moment ago. President Bush carried Wake County, that's Raleigh in North Carolina, by 2.1 points. And as you heard Chuck report that Obama appears to be up 14 points at this point. That's dramatic.
Where's it?
Mike Murphy, I think he hears us. We don't hear him.
No audio?
Now we are.
You hear me now?
I hear you now.
Okay.
Start from the beginning. So
that's an interesting finding at Wake, and take a look at Mecklenburg County, the Charlotte area, where we don't have a lot in yet. But if that kind of trend of those swing counties that are a little more yuppified than the classic Sunbelt county, if Obama's running up big numbers there, plus his African-American turnout, we got another red state with a bad case of blue-itis tonight, which would be bad news, of course, for the McCain campaign.
Well, talk to us about Florida and what you're seeing.
Well, I'm looking at Florida, and while there are some places where McCain's doing fine, there are other places where he's not. There's clearly something going very wrong in the Orlando area. Not only those congressional seats going down there, but Orange County is way under where it ought to be. The suburban county of Seminole's not doing so well. Also going down Republican in Western County, Lee County, Collier, the southwest corner of Florida, Republican territory. McCain's winning, but he's running 3 to 5 points under where he ought to be. And we still haven't had the big Democratic numbers come out of southeast Florida yet. So, you know, it's still too early to call it, but I have to say, and I've been talking to some kind of old pros down in Florida, too. I've worked on races with there. Not that great. In fact, the biggest poll right now people in Florida are talking about is that Governor Christ has announced that he's been called back to Tallahassee on an urgent legal matter and won't be able to attend the McCain victory party in Florida. That's a poll all in itself, I'm afraid. I'm still polling for John down there, but the early county numbers, particularly in Central Florida, are underperforming.
Harold Ford, what do you see on the map tonight? And as we've been talking about here, yeah, Pennsylvania was closed off as a strategy for John McCain. Other than that, this is looking a lot like 2004.
If our dear late friend were here, he'd put his board up and say Florida, Florida, Florida again. What Mike just walked through is telling. I think what Chuck Todd has walked through regarding Virginia, Fairfax County, only about 18% of the vote is in at 9 p.m. You have 665,000 eligible voters in that county. In Arlington County, 0% of the votes are reported. Got news from sources close there in Virginia. If Barack is able to flip both of those in the next 30 to 45 minutes, again, it's a storyline of the night. That eastern seaboard where McCain needed to do well becomes harder and harder to see how you put together a factor of 270 electoral votes to win this race. If you're Barack Obama and Axelrod right now, you got to be very encouraged.
The other Florida story, too, I forgot to mention Jacksonville, big Republican area. McCain used to be actually in the Navy there. It was always kind of his base in the state. Not all the voting yet, so we don't know what's in and what's out, but so far more than half of it in. Way underperforming in Duval County, Jacksonville for the Republican. Near even when he ought to be up 7, 8, 9 points.
Mike, I wonder if you heard what Douglas Holtz-Eakin said in our quick interview with him earlier, I think it was last hour, when he said essentially that John McCain is the only Republican who could do this well, given how challenging this environment is. Regardless of who ends up winning, having held on to this much of the Bush 2004 map already, is that something the McCain campaign is sort of feeling good about? They haven't lost any red states yet.
Well, the night is young, I hate to say.
Yeah.
You know, look, I think nobody has fought harder than John McCain. He has been a turbine. I am proud of him. Right. But the numbers are the numbers, and there's no prize for second. It's a very, very tough environment, but we just got to get some more vote to come in here to see what's really going to happen.
I think Professor Holtz-Eakin is still grading on the bell curve. I'm not sure it's helpful in presidential politics.
All right, our insiders, Mike Murphy, Harold Ford Jr. More to come as the night wears on. Coming next, we're going to join Ann Curry. She's got more of our exit polling to report to you tonight. Our election night coverage here on MSNBC comes back right after this short break.
MSNBC's coverage of the 2008 president. MSNBC, the place for politics.